the cast that became a real family. When people think about a major Hollywood production, they often imagine long hours, strict schedules, and constant pressure. But according to the transcript, something unexpected happened during the making of Michael. Instead of remaining simply co-workers, the cast gradually developed a genuine friendship that made the demanding production feel more like a family gathering than a movie set. The source describes behind-the-scenes moments filled with laughter, playful teasing, and spontaneous conversations that helped create a warm atmosphere throughout filming. While audiences will eventually see an emotional story on screen, the people bringing it to life spent countless moments laughing together whenever the cameras stopped rolling. According to the transcript, these light-hearted interactions became one of the production's greatest strengths. During cast interviews, the actors joked about everything from their favorite Michael Jackson dance moves to memorable rehearsal stories. One playful discussion even turned into a friendly debate over which iconic move deserved the top spot, with Jaafar Jackson reminding everyone that learning the moonwalk wasn't exactly optional for someone portraying the king of pop. The source explains that these conversations revealed how comfortable the cast had become with one another. Rather than approaching interviews as formal promotional events, they constantly interrupted each other with jokes, shared memories, and laughter that reflected the genuine bond they had built over months of filming. The transcript suggests that this chemistry naturally carried over into their performances, helping the Jackson family relationships on screen feel more authentic. The transcript also highlights that this sense of family extended far beyond the principal cast. Actors, including Nia Long, Coleman Domingo, Giuliano Crue-Valdi, and Jaafar, often spoke about the mutual respect and encouragement they shared throughout production. Even during the most demanding filming days, moments of humor helped relieve the pressure and reminded everyone why they had joined the project in the first place. According to the source, these friendships became an essential part of the film's creative energy, transforming long rehearsals and difficult shooting schedules into experiences that many of the cast would later describe as unforgettable. Looking back, the transcript presents this unique camaraderie as one of the hidden reasons the production felt so special. Before audiences ever saw the finished movie, the people behind it had already become something much closer than colleagues. They had become a little family of their own. As the documentary continues, we follow Jaafar Jackson into the moment that changed his life forever, revealing what it felt like to step onto the set for the very first day and begin the extraordinary journey of becoming Michael Jackson. Jaafar's first day becoming Michael. No amount of rehearsal can fully prepare an actor for the moment the cameras finally begin rolling. According to the transcript, Jaafar Jackson's first day on the set of Michael marked the end of years of preparation and the beginning of the greatest challenge of his career. After countless dance rehearsals, voice training sessions, and months of studying his uncle's life, he now faced the reality of performing under the bright lights of a major Hollywood production. The source explains that stepping onto the set wasn't simply another day at work. It was the moment when everything he had learned would finally be put to the test. According to the transcript, the atmosphere on that first day was unlike anything Jaafar had experienced before. Surrounded by cameras, lighting equipment, elaborate costumes, and an entire production crew, he understood that preparation alone would no longer be enough. The source explains that he had to leave his own identity behind and completely immerse himself in the role of Michael Jackson. Every rehearsal, every movement, and every hour of research now had to become instinctive rather than calculated. The transcript describes this transition as the point where years of private practice transformed into a living performance. Instead of thinking about choreography or memorized details, Jaafar had to trust the work he had already completed and allow the character to emerge naturally in front of the camera. The transcript suggests that this first day became one of the defining moments of the entire production. It wasn't because everything suddenly became easier, but because the months of preparation had finally begun serving their true purpose. Every challenge that followed would build upon this first step. According to the source, once filming began, Jaafar no longer viewed himself as someone trying to imitate Michael Jackson. He had entered a creative journey focused on telling his uncle's story with honesty, discipline, and respect. Looking back, the transcript presents that first day as the moment when preparation gave way to performance and uncertainty gradually turned into confidence. As the documentary continues, that confidence is tested in an unforgettable way when Jaafar experiences a deeply emotional moment in front of the mirror, a transformation so remarkable that it forever changed the way he saw both himself and the role he had been chosen to play. The mirror that changed everything. Every actor experiences a moment when preparation begins to feel real. According to the transcript, that moment arrived for Jaafar Jackson, not on a stage or in front of a camera, but while standing in front of a mirror. After months of movement training, vocal coaching, costume fittings, and makeup sessions, he caught his own reflection and realized something had changed. The source explains that this wasn't simply about looking like Michael Jackson. It was the first time all the months of preparation came together, creating an image that blurred the line between the actor and the legendary performer he had spent so long studying. According to the transcript, the transformation was the result of countless departments working together. Hairstylists, makeup artists, costume designers, movement coaches, and the film's creative team had each contributed to recreating different stages of Michael's appearance. But the source emphasizes that the reflection in the mirror represented far more than technical craftsmanship. It reflected the discipline Jaafar had developed over months of rehearsal. Every posture, facial expression, gesture, and movement had been refined through repetition until they began feeling completely natural. The transcript suggests that seeing himself fully transformed became an emotional experience, because it reminded him of the enormous responsibility he now carried. He wasn't simply wearing Michael's clothes, he was preparing to tell the story of someone who had shaped both his family and the history of music. Looking back, the transcript presents this quiet moment as one of the production's most meaningful milestones. Before the cameras captured a single performance, Jaafar was able to pause and recognize how far the journey had already taken him. The reflection staring back from the mirror represented months of sacrifice, patience, and unwavering commitment to authenticity. According to the source, it was also a reminder that the real challenge still lay ahead. Looking like Michael Jackson was only the beginning. The true test would come when emotion, movement, and performance all had to come together in front of the camera. As the documentary continues, we leave the makeup room behind and travel to one of the most meaningful locations in the entire production, revealing how filming at Havenhurst brought the cast closer than ever to the real-world Michael Jackson once called home. Inside Havenhurst, training where Michael once lived. Some filming locations are simply movie sets, others carry decades of history. According to the transcript, Havenhurst was far more than just another location during the production of Michael. It was a place deeply connected to the Jackson family's story and one that held countless memories from Michael Jackson's life. For Jaafar Jackson, arriving there was more than a professional milestone. It was an emotional reminder that he was walking through a place his uncle had once called home. The source explains that filming in such an authentic environment added a level of realism that no studio backlot could ever recreate. According to the transcript, Havenhurst became more than a backdrop for the cameras. It created an atmosphere that helped the cast understand the world they were bringing back to life. Between filming, interviews, and rehearsals, the actors often reflected on the significance of working in a location so closely connected to the Jackson family's history. The source suggests that the surroundings themselves helped shape their performances, constantly reminding everyone that this film wasn't simply recreating famous moments. It was telling the story of a real family whose journey had influenced music history. For Jaafar especially, returning to a place connected to childhood memories made the experience even more personal, blending his own family history with the character he was portraying. The transcript also describes how the warm chemistry among the cast continued to grow throughout these filming days. Between takes, conversations often shifted from technical discussions to laughter, shared memories, and playful moments that helped ease the pressure of such an ambitious production. According to the source, those lighter interactions created an environment where the actors felt comfortable supporting one another, making even the most demanding shooting days feel less overwhelming. Looking back, the transcript presents Havenhurst as much more than a filming location. It became a place where history, memory, and performance naturally came together, allowing the cast to feel closer than ever to the story they had been entrusted to tell. As the documentary continues, the production moves from meaningful locations to one of its greatest creative challenges, recreating Michael Jackson's most iconic performances, one dance step at a time, with a level of precision that demanded absolute perfection from everyone involved. Recreating history, one dance at a time. Some performances become so legendary that generations can recognize them from a single pose or a single beat of music. According to the transcript, recreating those unforgettable moments became one of the greatest creative challenges faced by the team behind Michael. Every famous routine, from the precision of Michael Jackson's live performances to the smallest details of his stage movements, had to be approached with extraordinary care. The source explains that the filmmakers understood audiences knew these performances by heart, meaning even the slightest inaccuracy would immediately stand out. Authenticity became the guiding principle behind every rehearsal and every day of filming. According to the transcript, Jaafar Jackson devoted himself completely to mastering these iconic routines. Long before the cameras rolled, he worked closely with choreographers and the creative team, repeating complex sequences over and over until every movement began to feel instinctive. The source explains that the goal was never simply to copy Michael's choreography. Instead, Jaafar focused on understanding the rhythm, confidence, and energy that made each performance unforgettable. The transcript also highlights the production's attention to detail, describing how famous performances, including moments inspired by Michael's legendary concerts, music videos, and award show appearances, were carefully reconstructed through choreography, costumes, lighting, and stage design. Every detail was intended to transport audiences back to some of the most memorable moments in Michael Jackson's extraordinary career. Looking back, the transcript suggests that these recreated performances became far more than technical achievements. They represented months of dedication from performers, choreographers, designers, and countless crew members working toward a shared goal. According to the source, every completed routine served as a reminder that honoring Michael Jackson required patience, discipline, and an unwavering commitment to excellence. By the time filming reached its biggest musical sequences, those countless hours of preparation had transformed into performances built not only on precision, but also on genuine admiration for the artist whose legacy inspired the entire production. As the documentary continues, however, the cameras begin capturing something no choreography could ever plan. The hilarious behind-the-scenes moments where rehearsals paused, the pressure disappeared, and the cast's unforgettable sense of humor revealed why they truly became one big family throughout this remarkable journey. The cast's funniest behind-the-scenes moments. For audiences, Michael promises an emotional journey through the life of one of music's greatest legends. But according to the transcript, the atmosphere behind the cameras was often completely different. Between demanding rehearsals and emotionally intense scenes, the cast discovered that laughter became one of the most important parts of every filming day. The source explains that whenever the director called cut, serious performances quickly gave way to playful conversations, friendly teasing, and spontaneous jokes that brought the entire production team closer together. Those moments reminded everyone that even during one of Hollywood's most ambitious musical films, there was still plenty of room for fun. According to the transcript, many of these unforgettable moments happened during promotional interviews and while waiting for cameras to reset between takes. Jaafar Jackson and the rest of the cast constantly joked with one another, interrupting interviews with laughter and playful comments that revealed how comfortable they had become as a group. The source describes conversations about favorite Michael Jackson songs, dance moves, and memorable rehearsal experiences that often turned into lighthearted debates rather than formal interviews. Instead of carefully rehearsed publicity appearances, audiences were able to see genuine friendships developing naturally. The transcript suggests that this chemistry became one of the production's hidden strengths because the trust built through humor carried directly into the emotional family scenes shown in the finished film. The transcript also highlights that these lighter moments helped balance the enormous pressure everyone faced throughout production. Long shooting days, demanding choreography, and the responsibility of honoring Michael Jackson's legacy could easily have become overwhelming. According to the source, shared laughter became an important way for the cast to recharge before returning to emotionally challenging scenes. Looking back, many of these behind-the-scenes moments now feel just as memorable as the filming itself because they reveal the genuine friendships that developed throughout the journey. Rather than simply working together, the actors created an environment filled with encouragement, respect, and humor that lasted from the first day of filming until the final scene was completed. As the documentary continues, the laughter gradually gives way to something much more emotional, revealing how the cast's personal experiences behind the camera helped them bring Michael Jackson's world back to life with remarkable authenticity and heartfelt respect. The emotional journey behind the cameras. Not every unforgettable moment during the making of Michael happened in front of the camera. According to the transcript, some of the most meaningful experiences took place between takes, during rehearsals, interviews, and quiet conversations shared by the cast. As filming progressed, the excitement of joining a major Hollywood production gradually evolved into something much more personal. The source explains that the actors weren't simply learning lines or choreography anymore, they were becoming emotionally connected to the story they had been entrusted to tell. Every day on set reminded them that this film carried the legacy of one of the most influential entertainers in history. According to the transcript, Jaafar Jackson often reflected on that responsibility during interviews throughout the production. Whether speaking with NBC's Today, the Associated Press, Essence, or during promotional events in Japan, he consistently returned to the same theme: gratitude. The source explains that he viewed the opportunity not simply as the biggest role of his career, but as a chance to honor his uncle with sincerity and respect. Those interviews reveal a young actor who remained remarkably humble despite the enormous attention surrounding the project. The transcript suggests that even as excitement for the film continued growing around the world, Jaafar stayed focused on remembering the personal memories that had first inspired him to accept the role. According to the transcript, the production carefully recreated many of Michael's most recognizable moments. Iconic stage performances, legendary costumes, and famous public appearances were rebuilt with remarkable attention to detail. The source highlights sequences inspired by events such as the Grammy Awards, along with other landmark moments from Michael's career that required elaborate sets, lighting, choreography, and costume design. Every department worked together to ensure that even the smallest details reflected the period being portrayed. Rather than relying solely on visual effects, the filmmakers focused on practical craftsmanship, allowing the actors to perform within environments that closely resembled the original settings. The transcript suggests that this commitment to realism helped every scene feel more immersive, giving both the performers and the audience a stronger emotional connection to the story. The transcript also emphasizes that recreating Michael's world wasn't simply about rebuilding famous images. It was about capturing the feeling those moments inspired. According to the source, Jaafar Jackson and the entire cast understood that audiences weren't just expecting familiar performances. They wanted to experience the emotion, energy, and creativity that made Michael Jackson unlike any other entertainer. Every recreated concert, every carefully designed location, and every performance became another tribute to the legacy he left behind. Looking back, the transcript presents this enormous creative effort as one of the film's greatest achievements. Through months of collaboration, research, and dedication, the production gradually transformed memories into living scenes that honored Michael's remarkable journey. As the documentary continues, all of that work leads to its most emotional reward. The moment the finished film is finally revealed, the cast realizes that every sacrifice, every rehearsal, and every unforgettable memory has brought them to the premiere that makes the entire journey worthwhile. The transcript also highlights how those emotions were shared throughout the cast. Between rehearsals and promotional appearances, conversations often shifted from technical discussions about filming to reflections on Michael Jackson's influence as both an artist and a person. According to the source, these moments strengthened the bond between the performers, allowing them to support one another through the emotional weight of telling such an important story. Looking back, the transcript presents these behind-the-scenes experiences as an essential part of the production itself. They remind us that the film wasn't created only through choreography, costumes, and cameras, but also through genuine admiration, friendship, and a shared commitment to honoring Michael's legacy. As the documentary continues, that dedication reaches its most ambitious stage, revealing how an entire creative team worked together to rebuild Michael Jackson's extraordinary world, from legendary performances to iconic locations, with a level of detail designed to transport audiences back into music history itself, bringing Michael's world back to life. Recreating the life of Michael Jackson required far more than casting the right actor. According to the transcript, the filmmakers set out to rebuild an entire world, one that millions of fans had watched through concerts, music videos, award shows, and unforgettable public appearances. Every location, costume, performance, and camera angle had to transport audiences back to the moments that defined Michael's extraordinary career. The source explains that this level of authenticity demanded years of planning and the combined efforts of hundreds of artists working toward a single goal, making viewers feel as though they had stepped back into history itself. The premiere that made it all worth it. For months, the cast of Michael lived inside rehearsals, long filming days, promotional interviews, and countless retakes. According to the transcript, there was always one moment everyone looked forward to, the day the finished film would finally be shared with the world. Every dance rehearsal, every emotional scene, every costume fitting, and every hour spent recreating Michael Jackson's extraordinary life had been leading toward that single milestone. The source explains that after such an intense journey, the premiere represented far more than another Hollywood event. It became the moment when years of preparation would finally belong to the audience. According to the transcript, the excitement surrounding the film continued growing as the cast appeared together during interviews, promotional events, and international press tours. Whether speaking at the Harkins interview, the Associated Press, Essence, or during appearances in Japan, the cast reflected on everything they had experienced together throughout production. The source explains that those public appearances carried a different feeling now. Instead of talking about preparation or rehearsals, they were finally able to celebrate the remarkable journey they had completed together. The laughter and chemistry audiences witnessed during these interviews reflected the friendships that had developed over months of filming, making every appearance feel less like promotion and more like a reunion among people who had shared an unforgettable experience. Looking back, the transcript presents this stage of the journey as one of quiet satisfaction rather than relief. According to the source, everyone involved understood that audiences would ultimately decide how the film would be remembered. But regardless of reviews or box office numbers, the cast knew they had devoted themselves completely to honoring Michael Jackson's story with sincerity and respect. By the time they stood together, celebrating the completed film, they had already accomplished something meaningful. They had transformed years of preparation into a project built on friendship, discipline, and genuine admiration for one of music's greatest icons. As the documentary reaches its final chapter, one question remains. After months of laughter, emotional moments, unforgettable performances, and a journey unlike any other, what lasting bond did this remarkable cast carry with them long after the cameras stopped rolling? And why do they still describe themselves as one unforgettable little family? The family that finished this incredible journey together. When production on Michael finally came to an end, the cameras stopped rolling. But according to the transcript, the relationships built throughout the journey did not. What had begun as a group of actors brought together for one ambitious film had gradually evolved into something much more meaningful. Months of rehearsals, long filming days, international promotional tours, interviews, and shared experiences had created genuine friendships that extended well beyond the set. The source explains that by the end of production, many of the cast no longer spoke about themselves as individual performers. They spoke about the experience as something they had lived through together, as a family united by one extraordinary story. According to the transcript, that sense of family became visible whenever the cast appeared together. Whether during interviews with the Associated Press, Essence, Harkins, or promotional appearances overseas, the conversations were filled with laughter, playful teasing, and mutual encouragement. The source explains that these moments never felt staged. Instead, they reflected the trust and friendship that had developed naturally over the course of filming. Jaafar Jackson, alongside Nia Long, Coleman Domingo, Giuliano Cruivaldi, and the rest of the ensemble, consistently supported one another, celebrating not only the completion of a major motion picture, but also the friendships they had built through months of shared challenges. The transcript suggests that this chemistry became one of the production's greatest achievements, because it could not be created through scripts or rehearsals. It grew from genuine human connection. Looking back, the transcript concludes that Michael became much more than a film about one legendary performer. It became the story of a cast brought together by a shared responsibility to honor the life and legacy of Michael Jackson with sincerity, respect, and dedication. According to the source, every rehearsal, every recreated performance, every emotional interview, and every behind-the-scenes laugh became part of a journey that none of them would ever forget. For Jaafar Jackson, it marked the beginning of an extraordinary career. For the rest of the cast, it became an unforgettable chapter filled with friendship, growth, and memories that will last long after the film reaches audiences around the world. In the end, the greatest legacy left behind wasn't only the movie itself. It was the remarkable bond created between the people who brought Michael Jackson's story back to life together. And perhaps that's the most fitting tribute of all, a family telling the story of another family, united by music, memories, and a legacy that continues to inspire generations. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this documentary, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications for more behind-the-scenes documentaries, exclusive filmmaking stories, and in-depth features celebrating the lives and legacies of music's greatest icons. Until next time, thank you for watching.